Oh. And enable the chat.
Baby, you realize my fingernails are wet, huh?
Oh, no. I was not thinking about it.
You have to give me a couple of minutes before I can go in the chat. You have to give me a couple of minutes before I can go in the chat.
I've got a massive echo. Oh. I've got a massive echo. So I guess I need to turn my phone down. Oh. This is interesting.
What? I'm just trying to paint my fingernails.
Hey, X.
Hello. I'm trying to paint my fingernails for Christmas, so I can't come in for a couple minutes.
Can you hear us okay? Can I move this anywhere I want to?
Can you do what?
Put it up there. Hello, hello, hello. Loud and thumbs up. All right.
I think this is
Cool.
going to have to wait till tomorrow morning.
Very good, very good. Got some people coming in. Yeah, Kiss. So this is what it looks like on your phone. I'm not broadcasting to a television or anything. But
Oh, it makes my chat tiny.
Interesting. Anywho, how's everybody doing tonight? Hopefully good. And everybody's staying warm. It's like oh my god. Go away.
What? Is there a troll already?
No, it's their messages are in my way. I can't type.
Oh.
It's like 70 degrees here. I forget, what's the difference in Celsius and Fahrenheit?
Like 30 degrees or 37 degrees. There's a new feature. I was able to make my entire screen.
The chat?
Yeah, that's new.
Huh. Yeah, I haven't seen that.
Oh, they fixed Honey Tongue.
Oh, nice.
All right.
Oh, good deal.
Hot damn.
So it's 70 minus 37, so minus 40 would be 30.
I think that's
plus 3, so it would be 33 Celsius. Yeah, so it's like 33 Celsius for y'all over here. Oh my god, how do I make that go away? That's so annoying.
What go away? Did yours do the same thing mine
No,
did?
whenever they type a message, you can't, you have to look at it on my screen, on your screen, and you can see that the message bubbles pop up.
I have no idea what you're talking about.
I know. If you watch the live, you'll see it happening.
Well, I am more blind than you are, so I need all of the screen. Yes.
Let me see here. So anyways, yeah, it's going to be unseasonably, but not unheard of, warm here for Christmas. And, I'm a little bitter about it because the only day I'm off tomorrow and I'm off Saturday and Sunday, obviously. And the only day that I can go fishing is Christmas Day. Because it's going to be too windy Friday and Sunday. The temperature is going to be there, but the freaking wind is going to be ridiculous. And I don't, I mean,
if you can be back by 11, then I don't care.
Yeah, but see, the problem is, what if I start catching fish?
Okay, baby.
Then you know that I'm gonna be like, oh, fuck, I ain't leaving. I mean, I'm either A, gonna run out of bait, or B, I'm gonna, be catching a bunch of fish. But at the same time, it's like, well,
yeah.
What if I take that time and do that, and then I get a big nothing burger, and then I'm still gonna be miffed? And anyways, since I already know what one of my Christmas presents is going to be, I think it would probably be a wiser, I'd probably be, it would be a smarter, decision to spend my time prepping the boat for that rather than, just running out there.
What do you, I wish you could see the look on my face, Kiss. So what do you think one of your presents is? Because I think you might be disappointed.
Oh, well, that sucks. You told me you were going to get me something.
Well, no, just say it. I mean, it's not like...
Well, I thought you had bought remember I said I wanted a certain kind of boat cover.
But I ended up not buying it because it was $500.
Oh,
and
man.
You told me to be cautious with my spending.
Yeah, that's true. I did do that.
Because you couldn't spend the same on me.
Yeah.
And so I did exactly that.
Damn.
I have already told you, you fucked up. You could have
now I'm
a new phone.
Now I'm gonna buy that damn cover. Send me the link.
I was gonna buy you a laptop.
Well, now I'm thinking about going and going fishing for that.
But
I'm just kidding, honey. Please, we don't.
You still need one of your stocking stuffers, or many of your stocking stuffers, to go fishing.
Well, all right. Oh God. Look, see this. Well, it faded away. You can't see it.
Oh, she says it's killing her that I haven't got a damn clue what he's got for me.
God dang it.
I'm sorry, baby.
Man, I was really counting on that too because...
But you told me.
I know.
Did you not tell me? Was I not supposed to listen to you?
Well, I didn't figure you would. I mean...
I bought you things I thought you would.
Babe, you don't have to justify it. It's fine. I get it. I know you like to buy gifts too and you're extremely unhappy in this situation. I'm probably playing up my disappointment or something. I don't know. I'm really not. I'm being facetious. It's fine. However, I have to get a cover or that cover or whatever because I don't want the winter and the subsequent summer elements, you know what I mean, to like have a negative impact and effect on that boat because at the end of the day, I can make that money back.
I know you
and then some when I flip it. So I mean, it doesn't need to flip.
You're gonna make the money back. Voodoo Queen ain't gonna make any money off the boat.
Well, I'm saying what I'm trying to tell you is that it's not that big of a deal that you didn't buy it.
Okay.
Right? And that me having to...
a minute ago because I listened to you.
Well, right. I mean, that's my real reaction. I'm like, well, fuck.
Shit.
I mean,
Baby.
Like, damn, it's not a dig at you or anything. I mean, that's my natural reaction. I mean, listen. One time,
Don't ever say that women say one thing and mean something else.
Let me tell you a quick story. Okay. All right. I haven't been as much here lately, but many years ago, I was a huge hockey fan. Right. I mean, I absolutely loved hockey.
Right.
I would sit and watch every single game that the Dallas Stars played.
I almost got you tickets and you told me not to.
I mean, I would watch every single one. Throughout the entire season, I was ride or die for the Dallas Stars for many years. As a teenager, they came, the Minnesota, it used to be the Minnesota North Stars moved here, I think in the early 90s. And that was probably when I was about, 16 years old.
Yes.
So as time progressed and I got a little older and eventually got married, uh, in like 2000, I don't even know if I was married yet. In like 99 or 2000, uh, my ex told me that, and it was on a Friday night, and the Stars were playing that Friday night. Okay. So I was all excited anyways about the game, because I'm going to go home. It's Friday, going to drink some beers, cook out, eat, watch the game, fucking rah, 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 see somebody go harden the glass and get cross-checked to the ice, and, because I loved the fighting and all of that. And, she's telling me she's got this surprise for me. And she comes in the house, and she's like, "Yeah, I got this surprise, blah blah blah. We're going to Reunion Arena." And I'm like, "Whoa!" I mean, I'm fucking I just explode in excitement and happiness and all this shit, right? And I run to the fucking bedroom, and I put my fucking Mike Madonna jersey on, and I've got all my shit, you know what I mean? And I'm fucking come back in the living room, and she looks at me, and she's like, "Yeah, I got us 2 tickets to the Monster Truck Show."
Oh shit.
And I'm like, "What?
Why?
The what?" I'm like, what the fuck has happened? Now I didn't have the internet back then. So I had a newspaper. I always bought the newspaper and read it at work and brought it home with me.
Yeah.
And I go and I check the paper, and it's a fucking away game.
No.
Yes, that's because they used to skate in Reunion Arena, and that's why she said Reunion Arena, and I'm thinking the Stars. I knew they were playing that night, but it was an away game.
Oh, babe.
And I could not mask
your extreme disgust.
Deflation.
Oh.
I mean, that's the best way I can explain it. It was just sheer deflation.
Oh.
Because I mean, although I appreciated the gift or the, what I mean, like the gesture and everything, I was like, fuck. Because my disappointment is really only my fault, right? Because
Did you tell her you were going to be watching it on TV?
Well, no, I just would have made the assumption because there's fucking 86 games in a season.
Oh, okay.
And we oftentimes watched them together. Unless it was like a West Coast game that wouldn't come on until 9:30 at night, in which she would usually go to bed, and I would only be able to make it through about half of the game.
I can't attest
and
to your communication skills, though.
So yeah, I mean, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to look disappointed. It just fucking is what it is.
Oh no, it's not the look; it's the words coming out of your mouth.
I mean,
well, shit. I mean, unfortunately, we have it recorded. I can go back and play this later.
Well, I mean, I'm sorry if I offended you.
You didn't offend me. You did not offend me. You fucking confuse me.
Oh. Sorry. Now see, to be completely fair with this, okay, I thought the conversation.
I can't wait.
I thought the conversation, because you said you were like laptop, phone, boat cover, this, that, and the other, and I did say, please don't go overboard, like,
Yes.
on all of that. I did express that because I wasn't able to match it dollar for dollar.
Right.
Right.
Which I told you that's not what it's about.
Yeah, right. And I yes. So to be fair, let's make that clear. I did say that.
Yes, you did.
I don't recall saying specifically don't get the boat cover.
Oh my God.
I think that deep down inside I was like,
just get me one fucking thing.
well, she's gonna get that boat cover because but you know what? Hey, listen, lesson learned. Lesson learned.
Oh my God.
Yeah, I mean, oops.
Shit.
Well, fuck it. I mean, hell.
Damned if you do, you damned if you don't.
Right. I mean, doesn't that apply for both sides in this issue? Right?
Yes. So, Kiss, I have to explain some of the other conversations we had around Christmas.
Oh, no.
Oh yeah.
No.
Oh,
Well, this is
yeah.
supposed to be about Ken Potter.
Oh, okay. Oh, you don't want me to tell this story, do you?
I don't even know what it is. I'm worried. When you forced me to publicly out what Christmas present I was talking about, I was uncomfortable. I should have said that. I don't want to talk about it, or let's not have this discussion right now.
You should have said that. So any and every woman in the world can understand this. So a couple of months ago, he says, "Oh, babe, I know what I'm going to get you for Christmas." And I said, "Okay." And I was quite intrigued because at that point, I'm trying to get closer to the mic. At that point, I had no fucking clue what he was going to get me, because this is the first year we have officially exchanged. So he says, "I'm going to get you a garbage disposal." And I think I literally physically hung my head. And I said, "If you want me to cry on Christmas Day, go ahead and get me a garbage disposal." I said, "That's something that the house needs. It's maintenance. But I'm a girly girl. It's pretty easy. Jewelry, perfume." And you were very disappointed that I shot that down. And I shot down his other great idea to get me a fucking butcher block of knives. And I was like, "If you want me to use those knives, you go ahead and you buy that present."
Wait, oh God, look, this for men. This is a rock and a hard place. Because I just saw this.
You like her comment?
So, oh, for fuck's sakes. Romance at its finest, laughing my fucking ass off.
Oh,
Right. Okay, I mean, listen.
He was disappointed, and he tried very hard with his beautiful words coming out of that pretty little mouth to persuade me of why that was a great gift, and that he was going to install it. And I was thinking, that's the only thing you're going to be fucking installing even close to me if you want to get me a garbage disposal.
Two wins.
Shit.
Now, you got to tell him that I did see your point, right?
Yes.
Yes.
I
still, although, even though I see the point.
Did you see her comments?
I know he's bought me something practical, and it's something for the house. I'll shove it up his arse. All right. Well, I mean, yeah. What was that? I'm at a loss for words.
Are you befuddled?
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
My mind is boggled. Because, and I said this to Voodoo Queen. I said, "Listen, I mean, I can see your point of view. Yes, I get it. If I was a kid, not saying you're a kid, but if I was a kid, right? When I was a kid, right? And I got Christmas presents. I wanted G.I. Joes. I wanted, I don't know.
Destructible things.
I don't know, something that, flashed lights, made noises, may or may not have wheels. It could possibly have a trigger I could pull, I mean, a lever I could flip, something of that nature. And, for the most part, when I would go to North Carolina with my grandparents and hang out with that side of the family, a lot of times I would get a sweater and socks. And I would be like, "For fuck's sakes, this shit sucks." You know what I mean? I want to
underwear. That was
underwear. Yeah, you need underwear. So you have to. Don't I get cut some slack in that regard? That maybe I had never thought of it that way.
Right.
Because
right.
those are very.
But at 44, if you were 4, I would think you probably hadn't thought of it that way. But you're 44.
Well, sometimes I still act like I'm and think like I am 4.
No,
You know.
No, we have both. Oh, G.I. Joe. Big brown shark again.
Yeah. You're not bringing my live stream down, Kiss. Forget that. I'm gonna delete that comment. No, I'm kidding. Trying to take it into the gutter.
I can still hear her singing it. It was comical.
Well, what I was gonna say was that me personally, clearly because of the boat cover, right?
Yeah.
Somebody's gonna give me a boat cover. I'm gonna be like, well, fuck yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah.
Right? Nor would I complain about a set of metric and standard Allen wrenches. Right?
Because those are things that you can do something that you like doing with.
Yes. Okay. That's fair point. Fair point.
Right. I do not like watching fucking cabbage go down the fucking garbage disposal. It's like, wee.
Okay. Again, yeah. You're beating a dead horse with this.
I am only saying this, Kiss. There is a big box in there, and I am scared to death. I am just going to have to laugh if it's a garbage disposal.
Yeah, no, that didn't happen.
Okay.
Yeah. And probably not going to happen because now I have to buy my own fucking boat cover.
Oh.
I had to. I'm sorry.
Okay.
I'm sorry, baby. I love you.
Okay, I love you too.
I had to do it. I couldn't help myself. I'm not only am I lazy, I'm greedy as well. Right? Well, I'm so greedy I won't even play the lottery. I mean, that's how bad it is in between my ears.
I don't play the lottery that often, but if I win, does that mean I don't have to give you any?
No, that is not what that means at all. Yeah, no, forget about that.
Yeah.
I don't play it very often either. I have played it a few times. Probably less. I mean, I'm sure I've played it less times than I've got fingers on one hand.
No, I buy about once every 4 months, maybe about 3 times a year. I'll think about it, just because when I'm in a store, because of COVID these days, I want to get in and out of there.
Yeah, we look at things from completely different perspectives, though, men and women. Just a fact of life. Well, yeah, it's true. I mean, listen, I can't say she's being completely open-minded in that department, but I understand her point. She explained it very eloquently, and of course, out of shame and disgust with myself, I thought back of every Christmas present that was utilitarian in nature that I ever bought for any woman that I had been with at the time, and I thought, Jesus Christ, I'm a fucking huge asshole.
I can't believe none of them expressed this to you.
I can't answer for them.
Oh.
So,
okay.
Can't answer for them. But
you just weren't with the right woman yet.
Yeah, I mean, I'm sure that that could be the case. See, I've bought him what I-class as a practical gift, but it's a super dry coat.
Oh, cool.
Yeah.
I got Clown some practical stuff because he won't buy for himself, and they're luxury things, but they're his style, but they're things that he won't buy for himself. And so I got 3 of those things.
Kiss my heck said his idea of practical will probably be a fucking Dyson. See, I wouldn't make that mistake. I thought that the garbage disposal was necessary Because it's like something you need,
A long
something you,
time ago, tampons used to be
something
necessary, but you wouldn't
need.
give somebody a box of tampons.
Listen to her talking over me. Do you hear how she's belittling me right now?
Mm-hmm.
That is so not fair.
Mm-hmm.
I wouldn't even buy my menstruating ex's tampons at the store because I was too embarrassed. Let alone buy them for a Christmas present.
It was a joke.
I know that makes me a horrible person. But that's kind of the way I used to think.
See, if you had behaved with me like that,
Off with his head.
not off with his head, it would have been a sit-down conversation.
Walk the plank.
No, I wouldn't have made you walk the plank.
Walk the plank at the end of my sharpened cutlass.
That's what I've done with every other man.
You bastard.
With every other man, I've just been, all right, your time's up. Get the fuck out of here.
But, shit, I fucking lost my train of thought.
I'm sorry.
I forgot what I was going to say. I had a point I was trying to make. But like most things, it probably, in the grand scheme of things, it doesn't really matter. And I'm wrong anyways.
But you are not always wrong.
Just most of the time.
No, that is not true.
I'm only teasing, babe.
I say quite often, you're right, and I drop it.
Well, yeah, I mean, it's not we're arguing or something like that. It's sometimes it's just talking you down from being pissed off at somebody at work or something.
Yeah.
And I've been pretty hot-headed too, not with you, but around you. What the fuck is this mother?
Right.
Ah!
Situations.
Yeah.
We both get heated about work. You saw her comment?
Yeah, there's the door. Now off you. LOL, I hear you. Yeah. Well, anyway. Yeah, so Kim Potter found guilty on both counts. Manslaughter 1 and manslaughter 2.
Shocked. I am shocked.
And I am shocked as well. Don't quote me on this. Because I'm only on my phone, I'm not on a computer. I would gladly pull all of this up for you guys. Manslaughter 1, I believe, carries a minimum. I'll say the sentences minimum to maximum as I remember them.
Mm-hmm.
I think it was manslaughter 1 is a minimum. It was 84.
84 years?
No, 6. It's
months.
No, 6 years. Is that 74 months or
6 years is 72.
72 months. Okay, so it's 72 months to I think a maximum of like 140 something months, somewhere in there, whatever 10 years is.
So she'll serve about 3 from what you.
I don't know, and I'll get into that. The second charge is I think it was a minimum of 48. With a maximum, it could have been over 100 or right near 100. I can't exactly remember. Now, and I'll do research into this more to see if I can find out why one person can be charged with manslaughter 1 and manslaughter 2 for the same
I don't understand
quote-unquote crime. That kind of doesn't make sense to me. And there were also some things about oh shit, what was it? There were also some things that I witnessed listening to the trial that I don't understand how you could convict both. Yeah. Right? I could almost see one or the other, but I can't see both.
I don't understand it either. I thought that was almost fell into double jeopardy.
Yeah, and I in the people I listened to, double jeopardy never came up. the issue never came up. I don't know if it's something specific to Minnesota law, but I'm pretty sure in Texas they don't do that kind of thing. It just, I don't know. To me, it was a little bit wonky because if you have manslaughter one versus manslaughter two, there are certain mitigating circumstances between the two, and determining which one you would choose.
Yeah.
But choosing both just seems really odd to me. But I'm only saying this from the jury's perspective. Clearly, or I'm assuming, right? If I'm in that jury room after hearing the judge's instructions before and after the case was rested by the prosecution and the defense, I'm extremely confused as to how I could pick both.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And I'm also confused on a couple of things. I'm accused on the definition of negligence, and I'm confused on the issue of intent. Right?
Yeah.
And the other night, I know I deleted that, or I didn't delete it. I privated that live. I may put it back up. I don't know, but I brought up something that came up in the trial, and this was called action error. And this is a psychological term.
I'll be right back, baby.
Okay, that is specifically, and I'm listen. All of this is just my opinion, hearsay, whatever. Don't take my word for 100%. It's not that I'm lying to you. It's just that I'm a welder, not a lawyer, and I don't have the greatest memory in the world. But this was some of the things that stuck out to me. This action error thing that was brought up by the defense's use of force expert, and I believe they actually had a psychological professional up there that talked about it as well. I can't remember. It's been a long week, couple of weeks since that happened. But anyways, basically this action error that they brought up is likened and akin to you've been conditioned or trained to do something for a long period of time, and you even maintain that conditioning and training, and I'm paraphrasing here, right, over these long periods of time. But it's entirely possible, not only is it possible, it's plausible and probable that you will make a subconscious mental error, right, that will cause an undesired result, even though you've done this action and been trained on this action and continual training on this action multiple times over the course of the life of whatever it is that you do, even if it's just living life. A good example of this would be brushing your teeth. Now, the witness that brought this up used a couple of different examples. Oh, actually, he used multiple different examples. I just wished he would have used some different ones. The two that that stuck out to me specifically were he basically said that imagine, you change you change your password on your email, and you've had that password for X amount of time, right? And you log out of your email. And then the next time that you log into that email, right, which the window of time with that new password is obviously considerably shorter than the window of time that you had your old password, right? Which is ingrained. It's almost muscle memory at this point. Well, now it's changed. And the first time that you log back in after the change, you almost instinctively enter the old password, right? I mean, has everybody in the chat done that, right? Yep. I mean, I've done it.
Yep.
I'm missing something. Another example he gave is when the new year rolls around, right after New Year's Day, and if you go to the store, or write a check for something, and you instinctively, almost instinctively, write the previous year, because you've been doing that for the previous 365 days, right? I mean, it's happened to me. Of course, the people I listen to, that live stream this trial, the lawyers and the use of force experts and former cops and now lawyers, blah blah blah. The list goes on and on. They're making jokes. This guy's still writing checks. It's 2021. But anyways, but yeah, I mean, I totally understand that. I the other night used the example that I used to be a CNC machinist, and excuse me, I ran, over my career as a machinist, I ran multiple different types, styles, brands, makes, models of CNC mills and lathes. And, on every single control panel of every single CNC machine, there is something called an emergency stop button. And it's a big red button with a yellow escutcheon around it, right? Like, hey, pay attention to me. I am the most important button on this apparatus, or this machine. If something is going terribly wrong, you need to push me. It is also the largest button on the machine, to stop something catastrophic from happening, or while something, is catastrophic is happening, that you push to stop it from continuing. But being that I was a machinist for as long as I was, I have crashed a few of these machines.
You're talking about action error?
Yeah. And I have both successfully been able to use that emergency stop button and unsuccessfully been able to use that emergency stop button. The reason, and I guess I need to say this before I go back into the machining deal. The reason for the action error thing stood out for me was because what he was talking about was, Kim Potter's heightened sense of not, in my opinion, it wasn't, it may be said heightened sense of awareness, but it's not a heightened sense of awareness. What it is it's all of your senses are heightened, right? Meaning, it's not awareness at all. Your sense of fear is heightened. Your sense of, your sense of hearing.
It sounds more like sensory overload.
Yes, sensory overload. That's an excellent way to put it. Thank you, sweetie. That's an excellent way to put it. Sensory overload. This can also be, also be described as somewhat, well, I would say pretty much tunnel vision, because actual still, employed police officers talk about that tunnel vision in that trial. When there is a heightened sense, or there is something going terribly wrong during the course of something, many police officers and bank robbers, they even have brought up this heightened sense of awareness being tunnel vision and whatnot, and they can't see or hear or even consciously understand exactly what it is that's going on around them, let alone with their own selves.
They're focused on one thing, and that's it.
Right? And the focus on that one thing could be the focusing on the wrong thing. So anyways, to get back to the machining thing, every time I would start a new program, and I was explaining this to Voodoo Queen the other night, every time I would start a new program, even if it was a part for a company that I had made 10,000 times before, right? Not 10,000 times in a row, but just make, 100 or 200 at a time, and I might do that, 2 or 3 times a year. And I wrote the program, and I've proved the program. Successfully went through the program, the first time almost, every time, there's always still that fear, and I'm always pulling the program from the same place in the database, right?
Yeah.
I check the print, the revision matches, the date matches, all of it matches electronically and on paper. I should be able to just send that program to the machine and go.
Yeah.
But I always did that with, what we call in the machining industry, the puckered butthole factor, which is the human error, right?
Yeah.
Is it possible that I can go through all of these checks and balances that I've been trained to go through, and everything seems to match up. It seems to match up. I loaded the right program. I checked the date in the revision again on the screen of the machine, but I'm waiting for some unforeseen gremlin to just pop its way up as I'm running through this program on a part for the first time. I'm waiting for the tool to smash down to, absolute zero and crash my tool and crash my part and all of that shit. And in the times that I wasn't successful on hitting the e-stop button, it was either A, because it was some unexpected something that I didn't see coming and couldn't react to it quick enough, or B, it was because of the plethora of machines that I have run over the course of my career as a machinist. While generally it's true that the emergency stop button is located in the bottom left-hand corner of the control panel, that's not always the case.
Right. So different machines, different configuration on the board.
Right.
So bring that back around to Potter for us.
Well, so the deal is, for me, it was put best. The best way I heard it put, and I hadn't even occurred to this, because when I was thinking about action error, I was thinking about, brushing your teeth. Like as you said earlier, I'm 44 years old. I've been brushing my teeth for a long time.
Yeah.
Is it, because of that, is it outside of the realm of possibilities that I'm not going to accidentally squeeze too much toothpaste out of the tube, therefore spilling it over the side and dropping it onto the counter?
Depends on what you got on your mind, right?
Right. But meanwhile, while I'm brushing my teeth and everything is going normal, my mind can do and conduct about 10,000 other,
Right.
things, including certain body movements. Like, I'm not just going to collapse short of a heart attack, right? My brain is telling my legs to continue to stay standing, telling my heart to keep beating, all of those kinds of things, right?
Right.
But all in all, in the course of brushing your teeth, it's not to say that I'm not going to dribble it into my beard, or I'm not going to spill some toothpaste on the counter, right? I mean, something is going,
Well, yeah.
A mistake can be made.
Because it's routine.
And that's really what I want to bring back to Potter, is a mistake can be made, and I don't really want to get into the debate over, well, I might get into it a little bit in a little while. The debate over whether, the mistake was criminally punishable, or if it was, we can get into that in a few minutes. And even, thank you, Kiss, I really appreciate that. And an even better analogy is this one. And I'm sure, I'm sorry for the noise, guys. The wind is going crazy here. We're outside because we want to smoke, or I want to smoke.
Well, I'm smoking too, but I'm doing it in between painting my fingernails because I can't help myself.
But I apologize if the wind is causing a problem.
It's the on the lanai or covered patio, whatever you call it. I talked to my sponsor today, and she called it a lanai. I was like, aren't you fancy?
Yeah, that's pretty fancy. Bougie, if you will. Anyways, dadgummit, what was I saying?
Well, you were talking
Oh, yeah. The other very good analogy, and I'm sure y'all in the UK hear this. It is lovely, Kiss, but not when it's like a frickin' 40-mile-an-hour gust of wind. It's quite ridiculous. Like, the sun has gone down. I don't know why it's so windy. But anyways.
He does have his hair pulled back in his beard Viking style, so it's not flowing in his mouth.
Right. But anyways, another good analogy, and like I said, I'm pretty sure you guys in the UK have had this happen. Was talking about when a car, and this mainly happens to elderly people here, is that they pull into a parking spot and they don't hit the brake, they hit the gas because they never really took their foot off of the gas. They were just kind of coasting, and their mind kind of catches up with them as they realize they need to be stopping, and they hit the gas, and then they go crashing through a storefront.
Can you make your notes?
Nah, perfect to me. That is the perfect example of action error, and I truly believe that is exactly what happened to Kim Potter. A couple of things to keep in mind about Kim Potter is she's 59 years old. Okay? She was 59 when it happened, I believe.
So she should be like 61 now?
No, it happened this year.
Oh, I didn't realize it was
This happened during the trial for Derek Chauvin, right? While the trial was going on. Anyways, 26-year veteran, which, let me continue on with what I do know. She had never pulled her taser on anyone. Oh, I think she drew it one time. She drew it one time and threatened a suspect that she was going to tase him, and the suspect stood down. And if I remember right, that was sometime in the early 2000s. She had never pulled her service gun on anyone. She wore her taser on her left side, and she wore her gun on her right side. Her right side is her dominant side. Her taser is her non-dominant side. And I don't want to, obviously I don't want to get into all of the semantics of all of that. The prosecution in their closing arguments pretty much summed up, that debate with she was trained specifically to, specifically on weapons confusion, they claimed, but yet many of the officers and the prosecution, it was the prosecution's own use of force expert said that he didn't believe that weapons confusion training ever.
Oh, it never took place.
Like there's basically it came out.
It doesn't exist.
It's not that it doesn't exist. It's mentioned in warnings, and it's like topically addressed in other training that they have to go through year to year. But as far as specific, classes that continuing education that you have to sign off on year after year after year, no, it doesn't exist. Was she aware of weapons confusion? Obviously, yes, she was, because she was on the force before tasers were introduced to that in particular department. Which brings me to my point about this mistake via action error, right? Not only did she confuse left from right, but she also went back to her most basic of training, which would have been the oldest in her memory, which would have been before the taser, which would make it, being someone that doesn't get in these kinds of situations because she's so good at de-escalation. All of her former colleagues, testified to this multiple times, and not just by questioning from the defense. All of these witnesses that were police officers, and there were a lot of them. I think there was like 14 of them that they brought up. That I have the feeling that the state felt like were going to be friendly witnesses to the state, turned out to be hostile witnesses to the state and pro Kim Potter. And also, basically we're saying, they're questioning by the defense, and a few of them even answered the question this way from the prosecution. Would you have done the same thing? And the answer was resoundingly yes.
Yeah.
Not pull the gun. Pull the taser.
Yeah.
Now, of course, the line of questioning of use of force, was she justified in pulling the gun even though it was by accident? Guess what those answers were?
What?
Yes.
So even though she didn't realize she pulled her gun, other cops would have pulled the gun.
Other cops would have pulled the taser. All of the cops, including Kim Potter, would have been justified in pulling the gun. If that makes sense.
Yes.
So that to me was extremely damaging to the state's case.
Yeah.
If I'm a juror sitting on that jury.
So how did the jury come to this conclusion is what I keep coming back to.
Good God, well, if I knew that, wouldn't I be a fucking rich motherfucker? I have no idea. That's the question of the day. It's again, I really feel like the punishment doesn't fit the crime. If there was a crime, right?
But I don't think she committed a crime. I think she committed a mistake.
Yes, she committed a mistake that unduly, and that's my problem. That's my problem with it. Not necessarily unlawfully caused the death of another person.
Right.
But again,
usually that's negligence.
That's
where you're going.
That's the thing, is negligence is intent, right? Intent first and foremost.
Yeah.
And then, I think the way it was listed was you have intent, and then you have the issue of causality, and then you have the issue, or you have causality, then you have, I can't remember how it went. It's like cause, intent, cause, negligence, negligence, and then recklessness. I think, I think, that extra cause I'm throwing in there because that's the way my mind perceived it. It seemed a bit hypocritical, right? And I'm just going to go ahead and say it, and I'm sorry for anybody that listens to this and gets offended. I don't know how you possibly could if you are a rationally thinking human being, right?
Yeah.
Dante Wright would still be alive today if he had not chosen to run from the police.
Wait, Kiss posted something. Do you think this has been a case of the courts being directed, shall we say, in the direction of a particular outcome for the sake of appeasing public outcry? I agree with that. Yes, I do think so.
Well, I don't necessarily I don't necessarily agree with what your answer was. Yeah.
Okay.
Because it's the public outcry part.
Because you know more about this case than I do. So has there not been as much public outcry as we think? Because in reality, at the end of the day, someone is dead by someone's mistake. Hey, Denny.
Hey, Denny, how are you? Good to see you. Thank you for coming in. The public is divided. Clearly, and some of the public, I'm not going to say half of the public, I'm going to say some of the quote unquote public are irrational domestic terrorists, and they don't really believe in due process and justice.
Well, and they have.
So that's why I disagree with that. What I will say, sorry for interrupting you. What I will say is that is if you'd ask the question of do I believe that this trial, these charges were politically motivated? Yes, 100%. I do think that this was a politically motivated trial. As I feel the same way about the Derek Chauvin trial. Although, as I've said before, I do think that Derek Chauvin was guilty. Once they started getting guilty on all counts charges on him, I quit listening.
Yeah.
So I can't really go into what he was charged with. I might disagree with some of the charges, but look, at the end of the day, I said it earlier.
He belongs in jail.
If Kim Potter had sat there and shot Dante Wright for 9 minutes and 27 seconds or whatever it was straight until he was a bloody pulp inside of that car, then I would agree. But that's not what happened. That's not what happened at all.
I think the woman made an honest mistake that no matter what they do to her, she is going to punish herself for the rest of her life. Now, that doesn't mean that there shouldn't be some judicial punishment, but it has to fit with what she's charged with.
Well, we'll get into that, right? This is the debate. Is she civilly liable or is she criminally liable?
Yeah.
Right? And again, the biggest thing for me is the intent. And there is the issue of intent between murder 1 and murder 2, which again makes it contradictory to me. How in the fuck can you come up with how can you come up with both? It just I'm blown away by it. And I'm blown away because, again, like I said, I'm confused by the instructions of how to interpret these laws, because for all intents and purposes, as a listener on YouTube, I might as well be a juror, right? Because I heard everything they heard. So I kind of feel like that, I pretty much feel like that the jury was either A, that vindictive, B, that greedy because of the fucking Christmas holiday, or C, let's assume they're all not just fucking whack jobs,
Right.
and they were equally as confused.
Yeah. I think it's the latter.
You know?
I think it's the latter. I really do.
Let's see.
Not see what I am doing.
Thank you, Kiss. Thank you. Yeah, it just, I don't, I mean, based on the way it was laid out for that I heard, I don't see how you find her guilty on either manslaughter charge. But if you do find her guilty on that, which I could see some of the salacious things that the defense said. I mean, it's not like she was saying the N-word in between when she was screaming out taser, taser, taser.
Right. It wasn't racially motivated.
Yeah, and they obviously they weren't saying that, in their salaciousness. Hey, the real Cynthia. Yeah, thank you for your comment, and thanks for coming in. Thanks for participating. She got what she deserved, but had a bad attorney for sure. I respectfully disagree with you. I thought that Ing and Gray did an excellent job. I really lay this one at the feet of the jury. I really do. I mean, they did I personally thought that they did a really good job. I don't think the prosecution did all that great of a job. Some of the things they were saying were very confusing, and I think that in their closing arguments when they were instructing, they're not supposed to be instructing the jury. That's the other part,
Right.
Is that Judge Chu, in my opinion, was allowing the prosecution to instruct the jury in their rebuttal to the defense's closing argument. And if you listened to it, you would have heard the defense object multiple times during that rebuttal. Which, I mean, obviously, Yeah, true prosecution, nothing to write home about. Yeah.
Oh, he came home many a day complaining about how drawn out and dull, and he thought that they were trying to put the jury to sleep or just inundate them with information. Is kind of the assessment that I had.
Well, information that didn't ultimately matter at the end,
Right.
or to the foreseeable end. Um, in my opinion, i.e., drawing up or bringing up every cop that I don't know how any reasonable person wouldn't see that they were going to turn, sympathetic to the defense. It didn't make any sense. Kind of like the charges don't make any sense. But then again, and I want to make this very clear that I do know a little bit about Texas criminal law.
Right.
I don't know anything about Minnesota criminal law, so I don't know if there is a charge.
Yes, I agree with what Cynthia said.
that could have been grosser in nature, but possibly carried a lesser penalty, like we have in Texas.
Yeah, read what Cynthia said.
You want give me? I gotta talk, and then I'll get to it. All right, we are just a moment in time where people want police held accountable. Yeah, that's true. I agree with you. That's an interesting parallel that you draw too, because obviously we've brought up Chauvin and Potter, right? I mean, if you don't have Chauvin, in the mix, so to speak, what does it look like for Potter at this point right now?
Yeah.
And if you don't have Chauvin, then you don't have George Floyd. If you don't have George Floyd, then more,
But I think it's a little bit more than that. It's nationally many shootings being highlighted by the media, and most people, I am probably one of what I would consider the minority that quit watching the news, that quit listening to the news when COVID came out. Most people do watch the news, and if you're watching national news, then you are seeing it. And I think it's impossible for human nature not to take that into account.
Well, and again, mainstream media is absolutely abysmal.
Yeah.
Absolutely abysmal. I'm not saying they don't do their research. They do their research, but they edit what they say in such a way to spin a narrative. I mean, that's just the way it goes.
Well, I've told you before, one of the reasons that I quit watching the news was because it is so damn depressing. I personally believe that there is just as much good going on in our nation as there is negative.
Well, that's actually true, and I don't know if anybody else has ever gotten this feeling before when watching the quote unquote news. I'm sure it goes much in the same way around the world as it does here in America. You get up in the morning and go to your job, and you watch the news while you drink your coffee, and you get good and pissed off because there's been a bunch of bullshit going on and blah blah blah. And then by the time you get around to Sunday, right? You turn on the news,
Yep.
and you get the one feel good story,
Yeah.
right, that they could manage to find over the week, which paints the broad overall picture that there's absolutely nothing good going on anywhere, and everybody's inherently, just bad and evil and disgusting and committing all of these horrible acts. You're so disgusted, at least I am, so disgusted by the fact that, I don't even want to see this, because I think it's so fucking cheesy that I can't even be bothered to sit through it. That's conditioning. That's grooming. Right? Here's all of this bad.
I know.
And then I'm going to show you this one good little thing, and I'm going to watch my ratings drop off the fucking cliff to justify being able to feeding all this bad.
But it could be done better, I believe. And I have said many, many times, I am a much happier, focused individual by quit watching the news. I quit watching all mainstream TV. I think that I had pretty much turned off the TV altogether. I quit even listening to NPR. And there was a part of me after a couple of months that thought, well, hell, How am I going to know if something goes on? I hear about it at work. I hear about it from you. I hear about it through friends. And if I want to go educate myself, I can go do that.
Did that pin her mess? Oh, you can't see it. Cynthia, I like your.
It did show up. Look what it did.
Oh, okay, it pinned
This
it
new
there.
format.
Whoops. I don't like that. I wanted it to go to the screen. Yeah, Cynthia, I do think the jury should have been aware of Dante's criminal history, though. I'm not so sure about that, and I don't mean to keep disagreeing with you. You know, but I think that, a friend of mine, a coworker, said this to me as well. Some of it did come out. I think the relative. I think the relative points came out. I think that it would have been utterly salacious, even though it's true, right, that he shot another individual in the head and a kid, while he was a kid, and caused that person to be paralyzed for the rest of his life. While I would like to throw that at him, I just, in the court of law, for whatever reason that I am completely unaware of, and I wish I could give you a really detailed explanation as to why. Maybe someday I'll be able to, but
it's not allowed, is it?
It wasn't allowed, and I do appreciate, even though I really wanted it to come out, I'm actually kind of glad that to keep the scales of justice equal. For whatever reason, that should not be relevant to what has happened here.
I can tell you why I think it's relevant. I'm not an attorney, so take it for what it's worth. I'm just a citizen.
So try not to go based on emotion. Right? Yeah.
No, in my logical mind, the reason it was relevant is because when she pulls up his name and she sees that he is out on he has a weapons warrant against him.
But it wasn't for that instance.
But that doesn't matter. If you're seeing somebody with a criminal history and what's current is a weapons warrant, I am going to automatically be heightened to protect myself, protect my fellow officer,
yeah,
and to protect the person in the car. That's why I think it's relevant.
Yeah,
it spoke to her state of mind.
I don't disagree, but if that happened 5 years ago, and that was not the weapons charge, and Kim Potter couldn't even see that in particular case because she didn't run that through a certain database that, yes, they have access to, but chose not to utilize.
Yeah.
How is that relevant to what happened? In my opinion, I think that those kind of questions about some of those past transgressions were not allowed. And all I'm saying is I appreciate the fact that there is obviously a distinction between what is relevant and what isn't relevant. I will quote some other people real quick and just say, although he was a piece of shit, and I'm not going to quote who said that, but although he was a piece of shit, it didn't necessarily mean that his piece of shittery needed to, be brought forth here, because in some of the other instances he was a piece of shit. It's not necessarily relevant to.
How is it not relevant that you know that this man is willing to pull out a gun and shoot somebody in the head? How's that not relevant? How can that not enter her state of mind
because she didn't know it?
Okay. Did they bring up the weapons charge during the trial?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, because it's relevant. It's current. He had a bench warrant because he did not show up for court on a weapons charge that was unrelated to him shooting someone in the head.
Oh, what Cynthia just said makes me sick at my stomach.
Right. It is odd that she may serve just as much time as Chauvin, and his actions were far worse. Cynthia, I think that, to me, because she doesn't have a criminal record, right? Piece of shittery. I'm stealing that phrase. You are more than welcome, Kiss. Um, uh, his ass hattery, whatever you want to say.
Yes, that's my
Um,
favorite.
damn it, yeah, Kiss, you threw me off. Hang on. It is odd she may serve as much time as Chauvin, and his actions were far worse. Fuck, I lost my train of thought. Oh, I think that I personally think that the judge is going to sentence her to the minimum to run concurrently of both charges. So what that means is, I think she'll in Texas, along with good behavior, Texas typically, to keep people from serving ridiculously long sentences for things that they understand under the law should probably not be prosecuted in such a way, or handed down in such a way.
Mhm.
The state, because obviously in Minnesota those are state jail felonies, the two, and because she's a police officer, they are aggravated. Does not mean that she's not eligible for good time or good behavior time off. What the state of Texas does is they give either 2-for-1 or 3-for-1, depending. So for every 1 day you serve, you get 3 off. So if your sentence is 4 years, then feasibly you could be out in under 2, right? So, and again, that I'm fairly certain almost every state, federal crimes are not, and punishments are not that way. I do think I heard recently that there are some federal crimes that can qualify for good behavior and early release, but I think the states, most of the states that I know of, generally practice that. Texas is definitely one of them. So I think more than likely it would probably end up that she's going to get the minimum on both. And I don't even know what the judge's powers are on this. I mean, obviously the judge is not going to circumvent the law, right? If the minimum for the second degree manslaughter is 48 months, then 48 months it is. I'm pretty sure. A sentence that's that long, it's not like she's going to be able to do work release or go in on weekends or something like that. That's part of the reason why I believe they wouldn't let her go home until sentencing, because at the end of the day, ultimately, she could put a gun in her mouth and potentially no justice is served. Look at Brian Laundrie, right? I mean, so.
Yeah.
What are you guys saying?
Their favorite catchphrases.
Haha, Kiss, you now have to rap. See, the shittery flies in the house sometimes. Yes, the shittery. The shittery.
It's not as good a word as Granny Fanny's what is it? Malingera.
The malingering.
Malingera.
Yeah, the malingering. Wait, what is this?
It.
Kiss or fuckery. Oh, show that. What the fuck?
I don't know why it does that sometimes.
Oh, it's a new. I'm telling you, YouTube's coming out with all kinds of new features.
Yeah.
Right.
Oh, it's because she used the F word.
Oh, yes, I had not noticed that before. Well, of course, usually I'm using StreamYard. Kiss, this is the gaming feature, by the way, on the YouTube app. So, like, you're literally looking at my screen.
We're getting fancy.
I'm gonna get out of it so you can see it for yourself. See, there's my screen. Here's me pulling up Google. There's Jerry Jones. NFC faux ruined by.
I'm sure he's pissing you off.
There's Jerry. There's Kim.
The next thing you're going to see on there is boat cover.
Yeah, that'll be completely by accident, because clearly, well, not accident, because Google's spying on us, right? And then here we are back at the chats, and I don't have a way to have panel guests. Let me see. I can't see the chat because your chat bubbles are in the way.
Oh, sorry.
All right.
Okay, I'm gonna attempt to.
I'm gonna lick your faces.
I'm gonna lick your face.
What does that mean?
I don't know. She's just silly.
Oh wait, is she the one that licked what's his name's face? Simon Cowell?
What?
No, that was Sheila or
Did she?
yeah, that was Sharon or Sheila.
Oh, that's too
I think
much.
it was Simon Cowell. I can't remember.
Oh, Kiss has got to go to bed. Oh, Lord, honey.
All right, well, have a good night.
Hey, Lady Witch.
We
All
love
right.
you.
Good to see you, Kiss. Hey, Lady Witch.
Really sorry, guys. Have to bail. Ah, damn it. Be up at 4 a.m. It's coming up on 1 here now. Love you guys. Have a wonderful Christmas. You too, Kiss. You too. And tell Mr. Sexy or whatever we said Merry Christmas. And
Merry Christmas from the States.
if you do decide to get him drunk enough to come up and sing, we'll definitely be there and to listen. So.
Yep.
But yeah, I mean, at the end of the day, I am my mind is boggled at how she was convicted on both counts. I personally, if I was a juror, because a thought occurred to me, before I found out what the verdict was, and I was thinking about, well, which obviously there's a holdout, right? Because they asked the question a day and a half ago as to whether or not I'll make him take care. All right, well, good night. Have a good night.
Yep.
And I was thinking, who's the holdout? Is Witch here?
Uh-huh.
Oh, hey, Lady Witch. How are you doing? Hope all is well up in D-Town. And I was thinking, who's the holdout? What side are they on? Who's the holdouts, right? How many of them could there be? All of this kind of shit. And then I saw that, and I erroneously texted Voodoo Queen and said, 2:30 p.m. they're going to read the verdict, so the verdict is in, and it turned out it was 1:30. Where I made the error was it said 2:30 p.m. Eastern time. Duh. Although coincidentally, Fox News's stream that I saw that on, or as I passed through my feed, who I'm not subscribed to, by the way, but just it comes up often for whatever reason.
Just in case anybody thought you watched Fox
No,
News.
I can't stand Fox News. But I also can't stand NBC or ABC or any of them, to be completely honest. But anyways, yeah. So this is what I'm thinking. Oh fuck, there's a verdict. Well, how could it go? Blah blah blah. And then I was thinking, well, then that was around 1:30. My coworker walks over to me and goes, "Guilty on all counts." I said, "Kim Potter?" He said, "Yeah." I said, "What?" I looked, at my phone. I said, well, it's only 1:30. He said, "Well, they've announced it." And I, of course, immediately went to one of my favorite channels, Ricada Law, and sure as shit, there it was. And I immediately went back to what I was thinking about before, which was, and he ended up saying it on his live stream, because previously they had been talking about jurors bullying each other in the jury room. And I thought, wait a minute. So that would tell me that the holdouts were actually against convicting. And they all wanted to go home for the Christmas holiday, even though Judge Chu didn't want or was going to unsequester them for the holiday.
Oh. I hope that's not the way it went down.
No, listen to me. Hear me out here.
Okay.
Where good luck not talking about the case.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Good luck not being influenced by any media reports. Good luck not seeing the news.
Or your Aunt
Sally. Get old Aunt Sally.
Yeah.
And then come back on Monday and reconvene. I mean, all I'm saying is I would have a hard time believing that they didn't spend as much time deliberating these types of issues as they did holding and passing around the taser and unloaded gun, by the way.
They did that?
Yeah, they did that. So, conviction just to get it over with and go home?
I hope not.
I hope not too. I mean, I know it's a disgusting thought, and I'm not trying to, be intentionally you know what I mean, like insightful or whatever, but it is a thought that crossed my mind, and it just made me fucking sick. Because if I was a juror on that jury panel, I would be going, yeah, I want to go home too. Internally. I'm not saying externally someone else is doing this to me particularly. But again, I don't see how you convict on both. Even given leeway to probably the most generous arguments and, concepts that were made during the trial, in my mind, I cannot justify charging on either one or convicting on either one.
Yeah.
But definitely not both. What the fuck is that?
I don't know. All I know is my glitter nails look fucking fabulous.
Oh, yes they do, honey. So, anyways, that's that's kind of how I feel about it. Cynthia said earlier, she got what she deserved. We haven't made it to sentencing. I don't know. But even if they, I guess really at the end of the day, my opinion is she civilly liable? Yes, 100% civilly liable.
Yeah.
Does that include consequences? Yes, of course it does. She's 59 years old. Good luck getting a job. She wasn't even living in the state anymore because of why? Awkward, to say the least, right? Threats that are made against her and her family, things like that. She's impacted. She's impacted socially, economically, emotionally.
Yes.
And I don't know if you guys in the chat can throw out another way. Would be great. Obviously, spiritually, you got to be wondering, why, right? Why would this happen? Why would this happen? Action error, obviously, is to me a huge contributor to this. It happens all the time in all kinds of different areas of our lives and others. Again, if a 58-year-old woman pulls into a parking spot, never takes her foot off the gas, and means to brake but accidentally hits the gas, drives through the front of a 7-Eleven, and accidentally kills someone, should she get a minimum of 48 months in prison?
That is a hard one. I'm sorry, that's a really hard one.
Even though she's been driving and never done that for
other circumstances. Is she in her right mind? Is she physically capable of still driving? Is she not physically capable, mentally capable of still driving? Right? So you go down through all of those factors, but those are tough cases.
Has she ever had an accident? No.
Yeah.
Does she have to go to the Department of Motor Vehicles if she lives in Texas every 6 years? In person to renew her driver's license so that those types of issues can be addressed. Yes. And she was issued a license to continue driving every time for the last 40 whatever years of her life. Yes. And you still going to convict her of manslaughter in the second degree at a minimum? I don't see it.
No, I don't see it either.
Because doesn't she have a duty as a licensed driver on the road to protect all of those around her by acting consciously in good faith and so and so and such and such?
We all do. How many times have you been told not to drive when you're upset? I mean, there are factors, but how many of us, and I can say this for myself, I don't have a job where people's lives are in danger. I have a job where there are big consequences, but it's not with people's lives. So there have been many a time where I've gone to work and I probably should have taken off that day because monumental things were going on in my life that had me extremely distracted.
Simples Meerkat. Hey, Simples, thank you for coming in. Action error. I see that. I have done that myself before. The consequences were zero for me, but I was like, what the fuck did I just, what the fuck did I just do? It's a misfiring of nerves, moving muscles, etc. Exactly. Yeah, that in particular jury is one that I can't say, I mean, I want to say on one hand, I would have loved to have sat on. On the other hand, it's like, well, I want to be home for Christmas too. I guess that's kind of where I was going with that, But yeah, it very disturbing. And again, I feel for, obviously, I feel for Dante and his family.
Yeah.
I really do. It's sad, it's fucked up, and it's tragic.
And
The problem that I have is, Dante, why the fuck did you run?
Because he didn't want to go to jail.
Yeah.
Because he had that outstanding warrant.
The even more fucked up part is that Kim testified herself that had she not been training Officer Lucky that day,
she'd have never pulled him over.
She would have never pulled him over.
Yeah.
Regardless of the expired tags.
Right.
Regardless of the gun charge that she would have never known about. Or not gun charge, but bench warrant for the gun charge that she would have never known about. Regardless of the marijuana that was found in the car and in his toxicology report. Right? Regardless of any of that, she wouldn't have pulled him over. So, my question is, why isn't the state with lesser charges going after Officer Lucky? Because the issues seem to be negligence.
Well, it starts to go
recklessness.
Where do you draw the line?
And intent. Well, that's my point about this being a political trial. You're exactly right. Where do you draw the line? Well, they're pushing the line further and further and further into decriminalizing criminal behavior, not on the part of Kim Potter. Right? On the part of the public at large.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And that's my real issue with it. If you look at the two cases and you take strictly the video that was released between Kim Potter and Derek Chauvin, one is clearly wrong, and the other one is clearly wrong and tragic at the same time. Derek Chauvin did not mistakenly put his knee on George Floyd's neck for 9.5 minutes.
Right.
I mean,
right.
Let's be real here.
Yeah.
That's not what,
No,
the two are not one and the same.
The thought that she could get and do the same time is nauseating. Because they're not, they shouldn't be punished equally. Their wrongdoing was not equal.
Yeah, and I mean, I guess one thing I would say is that I do, I am sympathetic to the idea or the concept that the laws provide, right, as interpreted by a jury of 12 of your supposed peers, right, that the state basically looks at it like, we have a dead person, somebody is responsible, keep it very topical, and someone must pay.
Right.
Well, I guess I agree with most of the experts, that there are two realms of law in where one must pay, right?
Yeah.
And that's civilly or criminally.
Yep.
And I believe to what was her name earlier?
Cynthia.
Cynthia's point. I don't believe that justice was necessarily served in this case. Um, you know, just because it,
We're gonna have to wait and see.
if someone kills someone else in a car accident, or let me say it this way, if someone else dies as a result of their actions in a car crash and the other person doesn't die, it depends on whether or not the other person was abiding by the law and their socially their social responsibility, ergo no speeding, not drag racing, not acting in a reckless or crazy manner, things like that. So there shouldn't be manslaughter or homicide, negligent homicide, whatever charges brought up on that person.
You're going back to why were the charges the way they were?
Why were the charges the way they were? Because in the consideration of all of those things, clearly this was an accident. I don't think anybody would deny that. Is it punishable by multiple years in prison? I don't think so.
Frightening.
That's frightening. That's going down a really dangerous road. Okay, so let's see. Denny's going to bed. Night.
Good night, Denny.
Thanks for going live and sharing your energies. Much love to all, and Merry Christmas. Night, guys. Have a good night, Denny. Really appreciate you being here. Glad your move went well. Yeah. Glad you're happy. Really enjoying hearing you up on Kisses lives. I love hearing y'all's perspectives on things and hearing your stories and all of that. And look forward to hearing from you again. And I'll do an open panel soon. I don't know. I might try to go live tomorrow at some point, just in case there's anybody that wants to come on and just listen to me banter on about some bullshit. Who knows? And then I'm guessing Bam's probably not going to be live for the holiday, and I know she had promised that she would be live. So, hopefully enough people have gotten the message, and I will definitely try to, along with Kiss, I think is going to do something as well. We'll try to coordinate, and that way, because,
Nuff is happening in Nobbington. Remember?
Yeah, but not until 2 in the afternoon for us. 2 in the afternoon for us.
Gotcha.
Or 2:30, somewhere in there. So I'll try to, maybe just go live early Christmas morning, which would be noon for everyone in the UK. So
you can show everybody the garbage disposal. I got you.
That you got me? Actually, that would be funny as hell if you got yourself a garbage disposal and gave it to me.
But that did not
as a proxy gift to yourself. Now that would be fucking hilarious.
Darling, I did not do that.
She said she didn't do that.
I did buy a lot of jewelry though. I have bought a lot of jewelry. There were a lot of sales lately.
Oh man. So anyways, but yeah, the only thing I don't like about this YouTube, doing it through YouTube like this, it sounds really great. I think the sound is I've run several tests, and to me it sounds really great. Like the microphone picks it up really well. I don't know if that's a difference between YouTube and StreamYard or whatever, but the only problem is I can't bring people up on panel. I don't have a...
You don't have a method to do that?
I don't... Well, let me check. Let me see. I don't think I do. Nope, I don't have a way to do it. And, that could be because I'm on the gaming side of it.
Yeah.
And that was so you guys could see my screen. Because I was thinking about...
Tomorrow you can try the other method.
I was thinking about... I don't know how to do half screen, but now I can't see the chat. Okay, there we go. Thanks, Simples. Thank you, Denny. Love you too. What was I saying?
We were talking about
I was thinking about doing because in the YouTube app there's you can do like a proper live where it's kind of like a StreamYard live, which I have not done yet, but I can't bring up my screen. And I was thinking about going to my the channel that I get a lot of my info from, Ricada Law, but I was worried about, you're stealing content. But I was going to comment on my thoughts on what he had to say on certain aspects and just play a little bit of what he was saying so people could understand why it is that I'm confused. He is obviously not confused, but I am, because I'm probably the closest thing to looking at it from a juror,
Yeah.
in the jury room, and how those conclusions could be drawn. And with a little bit of my own experience, which I won't delve into, with criminal and civil law.
Yeah.
But anyways, I don't know. But I decided not to do that. I was just satisfied with things sounding good and all of that. And I think I had a record like 11 or 12 people in chat tonight. Wow, that was fucking awesome. I don't even know if Lady Witch is even still around.
Oh, she might be doing something, baby.
But yeah, I thought that was cool. I was like, yes, 12. I'm moving on up. Did anybody in the chat see my short that I posted about the forklift and the toolbox that got dropped off of it?
That and Butters at your old house.
Yeah, Butters gets look how adorable she is. And she gets 20 views, and Toolbox getting dropped off the forklift gets 200 views.
I'm telling you, it is because the title you gave them.
That's ridiculous.
They're probably thinking this motherfucker likes butter and fooling around, because that's what it sounded like.
Yeah, Butters was the sweetest, nastiest Siamese cat, but she was very sweet. We called that, for those that saw it, okay, Lady Witch said, I'm busting suds, washing the dishes. LOL, nice. Busting suds. Ha ha.
Oh, you see what Simple says? She says she counts as 2 because Tiffany's on the bed.
Oh, okay, gotcha.
Oh, Denny saw the forklift.
Oh, did she?
Yeah.
It hasn't come up on my chat yet.
Oh, interesting.
Oh, okay. Yeah, the forklift drop. Yeah. Well, I'll tell you, I don't know if you're going to listen to me while you're going to bed, but, yeah, so story behind that is that, that warehouse, that I was in, was at the company I used to work for. We had 2 warehouses. The warehouse where the drop occurred was our second warehouse. It literally was for storage of, our products that we made, but weren't able to ship because we were running out of room. Yeah, boys' time. Yeah, exactly. So you get it, because we act stupid sometimes, right? And well, anyway, the dude on the forklift, his name is Thomas. I am also sitting on a forklift, although you can't see it recording this, but the 2 warehouses were not next to each other. They were kind of down the block from each other, in Deep Ellum, Texas. You had to go, all male bar me here. you had to go down the road to get from one, in a downtown area, from one warehouse to the other. And that toolbox belonged to a dude that had gotten fired, and it was a piece of shit, and none of the drawers worked. I mean, it basically wasn't worth me, because I'm a welder and a fabricator, it wasn't worth me repairing. I mean, it was the box was so screwed up, it just wasn't even worth it. Even if you were going to get the box, because it was so cosmetically damaged, and it was internally damaged in such a way that it just, like I said, it wasn't worth it. Now, Thomas, the guy on the forklift that you saw drop it, at the time was our shipping manager. Being that he was the only guy in shipping, he was also his own employee, right? And Thomas, I might post another couple of videos I've got Thomas on, Thomas is a 6'4", maybe 6'6", Hispanic dude that weighs as much as a sumo wrestler, who is capable of taekwondo and used to work as an armed security guard, or not security guard, but armed. Did Thomas cost the company money? No. Well, I mean, that's debatable. Yeah, maybe a couple times he did. But I got some stories about Thomas. I got to get back in touch with Thomas. I haven't talked to him in a while. And but anyways, yeah. So, the box is in the way at the shop, and I'm like looking at it. He's like, "You don't think you can fix it?" And I'm like, "Well, I can fix it, but it's a piece of shit, I mean,
Not worth it.
he said it's not worth it. He goes, "Well, do you think we ought to, what should we do with it? Should we throw it away?" I said, "Well, maybe not. I mean, maybe, later on down the line when management's not looking, I could maybe do a couple of things, and maybe we can put it on Craigslist or something for a couple $100 or something." So he's like, "Well, so let's just put it at the other warehouse." And I just made a joke. I said, "Well, yeah, I mean, yeah, let's take it to the other warehouse. And I wouldn't mind if you dropped it 15 times on the way over there." And we kind of laughed, but we were looking at each other, and I know that look, He knows the look I had, and I know the look he had. Between women and men, usually they kiss at that moment, and I'm sure it happens woman to woman and man to man. But we're normal, as Bam would say. Just joking, and so it's more like, oh, let's engage in some debauchery together, non-verbally communicated, but because we're driving on
You're
public,
making it sound
because
so nice.
because
You want to bust shit up.
because I know it, because we have to drive on public streets. I mean, we both know that's, and a forklift, by the way, which is not licensed, tagged, or registered with the state. And so we know it can't be dropped 15 times on the way over there, but there's no limit to how many times we can drop it once we get over there. So that's the story behind that. I opened up the shop. He was sitting out on the forklift with the toolbox on it, with the plans to drop it from a height, which was about 25 feet, and get a laugh out of it. And we did. Yeah, let's face it, an agreement was made. That's right. That's right. It's so true. And I mean, honestly, I thought that was the funniest shit ever. I mean, obviously you can hear me laughing. He had a big smile on his face too. I recorded it for posterity. Yeah, let's break shit. Exactly. I wasn't in my 40s when that video happened, but I think I was like 39. Yeah, I mean, I mean, that's why I said, because it's the Cyndi Lauper song, right? I mean, as girls just want to have fun.
Yes.
I mean, so do boys. You know what I mean?
We know.
Yeah,
We know.
that's why I titled it.
Even
So
I don't think we know. We know.
So you think that the title is, well,
Yes.
what is causing all the views? Because my audience is by and large female.
Right, so they're curious. They're
From
like,
the truth community, but
Right,
they
but
don't
they're
give a fuck
curious.
about Butters.
I'm sorry, baby. I don't know what to tell you.
I'll tell you what, Butters, I'm so sorry.
She's not a superstar like Abby is.
She was in my heart. Right, Abby's got more views than Butters.
Because Abby don't give a fuck. Watch me, don't watch me, I don't care.
Yeah, she doesn't give a shit.
Yeah.
She really doesn't. Abby is all about Abby.
Yes, she is.
I mean, Butters was all about Butters, but yeah. But thank you, Simples. She said I watched Butters. Yeah, Simples. We Butters. That was our pretty time. We called that pretty time. I wished I would have recorded her with my comb that I used to comb through my beard back then, because she loved to get combed on the sides of her face, and she would get going. Because we can appreciate destruction. Butters was cute though. Yep. Yeah. Oh, and by the way, I haven't gained any subscribers from those, which I thought would happen, but apparently not. Because like a bedtime clown is actually relatable. He's not cruel to animals. He may be cruel to toolboxes, and I don't understand. But near a subscriber was gained.
You are not going to figure out the algorithm.
The algorithm, right? Well, right, and that might be the cause for the views is because of the destruction, like Lady Witch just pointed out, right?
Right.
Yeah, I mean, people could be typing in the search like things that get destroyed.
Butters did not show up in...
What the fuck is that?
Piece of crap car. Butters didn't show up in my shorts feeds, but the boys want to have fun too did show up in my short feeds.
So you didn't even get a notification for Butters?
No. Mm-mm.
Well, that's fucked up.
I don't know what to tell you. I think maybe somebody at YouTube is anti-cat. Although you wouldn't think so from all the videos you watch.
Well, I don't hashtag in the comments. I'm not real sure how all that works.
Yeah, you'll have to learn. All right, I've got to find my flip-flops so I don't mess up my toes.
Denny said she typed magic beards and found me.
Oh, Jesus.
LOL.
Don't make his head big.
Yeah. Well, we all know that's not how it went, but
Here she is.
So anyway, well, hello there, Abby. Hey, sugar.
Did you see what she did a little while ago?
No.
So, guys, she was laying in front of the French doors from the den to the patio so we can see her for the most part. But she's laying down, and she lifts up one paw, hits it on the door like, hey, bitch.
She was laying down and did that?
Yes.
Wow.
Hey, bitch, you gonna let me out?
She's both incredibly lazy and persistent at the same time.
Oh, God, she's persistent.
That's amazing. Yes. All right, now she's ready to go back inside.
Yeah. You ready? You done? All right.
Well, guys, any questions about Kim Potter? I mean, I don't know that, I'll be able to, intelligently answer them, but I can definitely give my opinion on what I heard. Again, I do think it's I think she was wrongfully convicted. See, my Dave had a bedtime type beard. His nickname was the Meerkat. Nice.
Simples, I thought about you the other day. I was at a local store, and there was a figurine of 3 meerkats together, popping their little heads up. They were adorable.
But yeah, and I think I don't want to say justice wasn't done because I have my own opinions on justice. Obviously the scales of justice as they're depicted with Lady Justice holding them, in my opinion, are it goes for both sides, not necessarily right and wrong. There's there has to be justice from the defendant's point of view, and Kim Potter very well may feel like that she deserves this.
Yeah.
You said she had a really hard time on the stand.
She had a really hard time on the stand, but it got brought up when the when the verdict was read, that she didn't shed any tears. And I find the intent of the people that would chat that or say that publicly have either only had minor offenses that they've been convicted of that they never really faced any real jail time over, even though they may view their crimes, all be them egregious, but not necessarily, vital to whether or not someone lives or dies. It was still a crime. You were probably sentenced to probation. I mean, I'm given as much leeway as I can to this, right? But at the end of the day, someone in Kim Potter's shoes, and I can speak from personal experience with this, may very well feel like they deserve something, but not what is potentially coming. And because of my personal experience, I can see that coming down the road, right? Again, I feel like in particular charges, had this happened in Texas, I can tell you probably almost exactly how it would have turned out. Not necessarily with the jury, but if the jury went this way, then, then this would happen. If the jury went the other way, then this would happen. But this is Minnesota, so I don't know why certain things were or weren't charged.
Yeah, the chat said some good things.
Oh wait,
Simples and then Lady Witch.
she was all cried out by then. Yeah, right, Lady Witch. That was an ignorant statement, in my opinion. Shock makes you act strangely. Well, right, and again, not only that, but if you think back to, and I don't know if you guys have heard it. That was the other reason I decided to do the gaming side, because I thought I might play the entirety of the video that doesn't often get played in mainstream media, but you know what? It brings a tear to my eye, because a lot of times what you hear in these trials, right, regarding murderers, regarding whatever, the lack of remorse. Seconds, the 2 seconds it took for her mind to realize that she had action error, right? If it was even 2 seconds, she is immediately remorseful. So much to the point that it brings a grown-ass man, me, to tears every time I fucking hear it. And it's not because of what she said when she said, "I'm going to go to prison." She said that after she said, "I shot that boy."
Right.
That boy.
Yeah. Like he was a child.
He was 22 years old.
Right, but as if she saw him as if
it was her own son.
Right.
How the fuck the jury comes to the conclusions they come to is fucking beyond me in this one. And obviously there's a lot of police cases. I mean, Rodney King, right? I mean, let's go back to Rodney King. None of those cops turned around and said, "Oh my God,
right, what have I done?
I've almost beaten my son to within an inch of his life."
Right.
Right. Derek Chauvin.
Right, he was not regretful, remorseful, probably disgusted with herself.
Right.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's a fucked up mess we find ourselves in. But anyways.
I think we need to eat, baby.
Well, y'all, I really appreciate y'all coming in and listening. And thanks for chatting. And, thank you for hearing me out, muddling my way through this live. I think, Lady Witch, before you say anything, I think this one was way better than last Friday's. But thank you for your compliments. I really appreciate it that you gave me over it. I might put it back up. I don't know. Um, I think this one was a lot better. Um, I just, I feel for Dante's parents and any siblings he may have. I'm not sure if he's got any brothers or sisters.
He does have a brother because
Oh,
was
that's
his
right. He does
car.
have a brother. That's
Yeah.
right. I feel for them. And obviously I feel for Kim Potter's family as well.
It's a loss all the way around.
Yeah. It always is, isn't it?
Yeah.
It always is. I mean, if the Watts case has proven anything, it's proven that it is a loss all the way around. And some people get treated unfairly because of guilt by association, and whether or not that guilt by association is because of the color of your skin or your last name, it's all equally ignorant and bigoted, in my opinion. Could be wrong, which I often am, and I'm willing to admit it. But so, anyways,
All right, love.
all right, guys, y'all have a good night, and we'll hopefully see you tomorrow and on Christmas Day.
Yeah, we'll be here.
So, y'all have a good one. Love you guys.
Good night.